Thanks for checking out this video. I'm Tyler, and if you like what you're seeing or you find this video to be useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, or better yet, you can hit that subscribe button. Now, to really show me some love, click on the bell for alerts and notifications for future content. Check out my merch store, tylermossop.com, or simply hit the store tab on my YouTube homepage. Hey guys, you all love to ask a ton of questions, and I'm asking you to stop asking me certain questions. Of course, in this video, I'm going to be reviewing and sharing the most asked questions that are super popular. I get all the time. Doesn't matter generally which video you guys love to ask these questions. Now, of course, these are not all plant related. They are mostly plant related, but there are definitely some questions I get that are not. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing all of that with you, making sure I answer these questions fairly directly. And if you're into that, plus a lot more, stay tuned. Now, one of the most asked questions on my channel is not actually about plants, it's about these things right here. Everyone wants to know where I got these domes. Let me give you just a sample of the questions you've been asking. AZ Girl asks, where did you buy those glass domes? Somebody else said, hi, where can I get those glass domes that are large like yours? Where are those Beauty and the Beast like domes from? I need, exclamation point. Those humidity domes are awesome. Where did you get them? They're so tall. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. To answer your questions, for those of you that have been very interested in the domes, I have a total of 5 domes. I have a pair like this one in front of me, and I have the ones off to the side here, 2 large and a smaller one. Now, all 5 of my domes I purchased from a restoration hardware outlet. As far as I'm aware, they are no longer for sale on their website or making these, so I'm really sad to report that I don't believe that you can get these. I know there are a ton of Facebook groups that host like resale items for restoration hardware. I've taken a look at those, and I've kind of trolled the internet, and I have not been able to find anything this nice or this large. And I know that a lot of people were surprised to see just and understand how large these domes are. Now, the ones in front of me are a little bit smaller. They're the smallest out of the bunch. And they're literally over 3 feet tall, and I love them. And I just want to explain why it is that I use them currently. I have some Hoya in my domes, and I'm going to explain why I use them and how it changes the care conditions. It's really easy and really interesting, so I'm gonna jump into that right now. So like I mentioned, currently I do keep some Hoya in these medium and larger sized domes, and there are a few things that I love about these domes, and it definitely changes the way I care for these Hoya. So first and foremost, by using a dome to keep a plant inside, it's going to help maintain and increase humidity levels, and it's going to change the way that you care for them. So these Hoya do get some really bright indirect light, and it really helps kind of keep the humidity level up, like I mentioned, which is great for Hoya, for example. The other big thing that you need to consider when using a glass dome is that you're going to need to water. I water my Hoya basically a lot less than I would if they were outside of a dome. So I water these probably once every 3 weeks. And so the frequency of watering drops. Not only that, the amount of water that I use to water them once they're in the dome also decreases quite significantly. So I probably only water these, I want to say every 3 weeks, like I mentioned, and probably, you know, maybe a quarter cup, maybe even less. So by using these domes, I'm making the humidity levels higher. I have to water them less frequently, and I can use basically a smaller quantity of water. And as you can see, since putting them in the domes, they are thriving. They are putting out a lot of new foliage, and they just seem to be much, much happier in here. So I hope that answers your questions on where I got these domes, why I use them, and what I need to do differently if you are able to get your hands on some beautiful glass domes and put some plants inside. All right, guys, so when it comes to caring for plants, one of the most popular questions I always get is in and around pruning your houseplants, trimming your houseplants, cutting back foliage, and that kind of thing. Now, usually your pruning questions fall into one of two categories. Either they are typically about your houseplant or your plant isn't really doing so great. Maybe some leaves have fallen off, or there have been some issues and you're wondering whether or not you should cut back, prune back, trim your plant. That's the first sort of general type of question I get when it comes to pruning. Now, the second type of question that I get a lot of questions about when it comes to pruning is typically around more aesthetics and the way that the plant looks. So you can think fiddle leaf fig, removing some of the bottom foliage to give it a certain look, and really questions revolving around how the plant looks and wanting to maybe trim or cut back some foliage or leaves based on the appearance of the plant. All right, so let me just start off by saying some of you all need to take your pruning shears, put them in the drawer, and softly close that drawer and walk away. Now, in all honesty, I think there's a lot of comments and questions. If you have some browning leaves or yellowing leaves, there seems to be this kind of tendency where people want to be able to trim and prune and cut that down or off or that kind of thing. Now, I jokingly said those folks need to kind of put their shears away, and in all honesty, what I think needs to happen is just a little bit more consideration. So if a plant has been overwatered, or it's getting too much sun, or the conditions just aren't right, and it's kind of showing that, or it's manifesting itself in the way that the foliage looks, either by yellowing or kind of browning, on top of the kind of trauma and trouble that the plant is going through, by additionally pruning or trimming that plant back is really just going to create more stress and on the plant, and that can really create more harm. I think the best thing to do is really think and reflect about and ask yourself if you have been overwatering, or why the plant might not be as happy as it could be, and just kind of let it be, and see if it kind of is able to rebound once you've changed those conditions. You water it less, you give it more bright and direct light, that kind of thing. I think to prune a plant that looks like it's not really doing well is just going to add, like I said, to the stress and to the trauma of the plant. So in that case, I would highly suggest not pruning or trimming your plant. Another kind of funny question that I get around pruning, which kind of makes sense but kind of not, is people are always thinking that by pruning they might be able to make their plant more full or give it a fuller kind of look. And that's kind of a tricky thing to answer, but maybe in a roundabout way, you might think that it might make it fuller, but in all honesty, I think by pruning, you're probably not going to make your plant more full. But in that second category of pruning questions that I get for more appearance-based pruning to make your fiddle leaf fig look a certain way, or to get your houseplants to look a certain way by pruning, is a totally different thing. And let's jump into that type of pruning question right now. Okay, so I just want to start off by saying pruning for aesthetics, that is pruning or trimming a plant, a house plant, to make it look a different way, or to look it the way that you want to make it look, can be quite controversial, and I definitely don't have all of the answers. What I can say is there are consequences to trimming and pruning plants, and it needs to be done responsibly and there is thought and consideration definitely that should go into pruning for aesthetics. Now, pruning and trimming indoor and outdoor plants for this kind of thing has been around forever. It's definitely something that's talked about and done, definitely. Now, if you haven't yet seen my fiddly fig video where I pruned quite a lot off of it, then you'll have to check out that link right up here. I'll throw it up. But that being said, yeah, you have to think about this. If you have a total of 10 leaves on a plant and you want to prune off 6 or 7 of them, then you're really kind of putting the plant in a really crappy situation because the plant obviously needs its leaves to be able to photosynthesize, grow, and develop. So if you're pruning for aesthetics, you want to make sure first that you have a really healthy, lively plant, and that the portions or the amount, the fraction of leaves, for example, that you're pruning, leave the plant in a position where it can recover from the pruning, and not only that, but really thrive and flourish. So considering pruning a plant for aesthetics, you want to just take it slow, maybe do a little at a time, and all plants really aren't made for this type of pruning. So if you're thinking about pruning your fiddly fig, check out the video that I did from a while ago. Or if it comes to other types of plants, definitely reach out, leave a comment. I will do my best to help you. But it's something that you should kind of do a little bit of research on and think about carefully. All right, so I get a ton of questions when it comes to dormancy. You can think about amaryllis, for example, dormancy, what to do, what that means, when to do it. Now, there are a ton of other houseplants that can go dormant, especially in my collection. Things like my prayer plants, Marantis, amaryllis, desert roses. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Now, this is really hard to answer specifically because these things can vary in terms of the plant type, and what varies is the time of year when the plant goes dormant, for how long, and the care tips that kind of surround the dormancy. Now, the best way, if you still have some questions about dormancy, you can definitely leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer it. But if your dormancy is specific to, for example, clivia, you'll have to check out the video that I did on that. If you're really curious or still have some things that need to get sorted out or make more clear when it comes to dormancy for amaryllis, definitely check out the videos that I've done on my amaryllis and dormancy. And I think the best way is just kind of to educate yourself in terms of what is required for a good dormancy period, and just make sure that the advice that you're getting is specific to the plant that you have, obviously, because like I said, dormancy can vary depending on the type of plant that we're talking about. All right, guys, so keep all of those questions coming. Definitely love helping all of you out and answering your plant questions as best as I can. Now, if I do find any more suppliers or really cool domes, glass domes like these ones, then I will be sure to let you all know. I'll do a video about it. But for now, I haven't been able to find anything like these ones that I have here with me and the other ones that I had before. But yeah, that's basically it. And yeah, see you on the next one. Well, that's it for me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Miss you guys already. Until the next one.